everybody and welcome back to Forest School Folk. Today I've got a bit of a make for you. We're going to make some autumnal decorations. A leaf wreath. Now you could use this as an autumnal decoration, or as we are in the month of November, we could use our wreath as an act of remembrance. So let's have a look at the things we're going to need. So the first thing you're going to need is something to make a centre for your wreath, which is going to be, for me, a piece of garden wire. Now you can get this from lots of different places. You can get it from hardware stores and you can get it from garden centres. But if you don't have access to garden wire, what you can use is a good old-fashioned wire coat hanger. It'll need you to nip the top off and make a circle out of it. I'm going to save this one because I'm using it. So the tools that you might need will be some pliers. Now I would advise, if you're going to use pliers, and we're going to be using wire, is to make sure that you wear some gloves on your hands. So let's put some gloves on. Ta-da! So now I've got my gloves on, I'll show you how we do this. With our wire, we want to make a loop on one end. We do that simply by taking hold of it and bending it round as a loop. There's the start of my loop. And the last thing I want to do is I want to close that loop simply by squeezing it. There we go. Now we are going to do something with this end in a minute, but we need it open so we can begin to thread our leaves on. So let's go and collect some leaves. Now obvious, as it's your wreath, you can put whatever colours on it that you may like. So looking around on the ground, I can see we've got lots of yellows and oranges and browns. And also we've got lots of different tree species, so different shapes of leaves as well. Now the ones that I'm going to look out for are the oak leaves. Now let's see if we can find any. Now here I've managed to find some oak leaves and some beech leaves. So we know this is an oak because of all the lots of lovely lumps and bumps that go around. All the way around like that. And this one is a beech. So we can see the difference there. Now, as I said, I'm looking for my oak leaves. So now that we've collected some of our leaves, we can begin to put them on to our wreath. Now the way I do this is by pushing the leaf onto the wire like this, making sure that my fingers are clear for it to come out between. Now I've chose not to wear a glove on this hand because it means that I can hold the leaf easier. However, you might decide that you want to keep your glove on so that we don't have any scratching or cutting from what can be a sharp point on the wire. So I'll leave that up to you for you to think about. Once it's on, I slide it down. Now I could do it one at a time, but that might take me quite some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bunch. I'm going to push it on exactly the same, making sure it comes through the gap. I'm not going to catch my fingers and sliding it down. And then I just keep going. And you fill it up and fill it up and fill it up. The bigger a wreath you make, obviously the more leaves you're going to need. And as you can see, I've got my work cut out. I better go find some more leaves. Okay, so I am quite happy with how mine's turned out. And I think it's now time for me to close the last bit to seal it to make it a complete wreath. So what I do is again take my pliers and I'm going to make a hook, just like that. Now that I've got my hook, I'm going to put it through the one that I closed earlier on. Now that might be a bit fiddly, but there it went in. Now, last thing for me to do is to close this hook, just like this. And squeeze. There we go. I'll space out my leaves. And I've got my autumnal wreath. Now if I wanted to, I could make it a bit bigger and leave a space in the middle. I could use smaller leaves and that would give me a small loop in the middle. Or I could use some big leaves, put it on a big wire. But here is my oak autumnal wreath.